The lights above flickered again. Anya Vale stepped into the shower room, rubbing the back of her neck. The day had been long. Too long. The research base on planet Kelmernine was quiet now. 8. Most of the team had gone to sleep. It's only the hum of machines, and the distant sound of air filters filled the silence. Anya turned the water on, steam quickly filling the small room. She closed her eyes as the warm water ran down her back. Finally, some peace. Her muscles relaxed, her mind slowed. Then she felt it, that strange feeling like someone was watching. Her. She opened her eyes quickly. Nothing, just white steam around her. Still the feeling didn't go away. It grew stronger. She turned slightly and wiped her hand, crossed the foggy glass of the shower door. That's when she saw him. A tall figure stood still on the other side of the glass. Only a few steps away, silent, unmoved. Her heart skipped. She wrapped her arms around herself, confused and shocked. "Commander?" She called out, voice shaking. He didn't answer. He just stood there, arms at his sides, eyes locked on her through the glass. "What are you doing here?" she asked again. No answer then, without a word. He moved slowly, deliberately. He stepped into the shower room, fully dressed. Uniform soaking, the steam curled around him as he walked closer. Anya stepped back until her back hit the cold wall. Her breath quickened. "Riven," she said again, this time a whisper. He didn't speak. He didn't blink. He just stood there, watching her. Then the lights above flickered again once. Twice, before going dark. Only the red emergency light from the hallway leaked into the room, and just like that, he was gone. Anya woke up on her bed, gasping. Her hair was still damp. She looked at her hands, then around the room. Everything looked normal. Was it a dream? She got up, checked the time, 3:41 local. Her heart was still racing. She walked to the shower room again. Empty. No wet footprints, no steam, no sign anyone had been there. But when she looked down, she noticed something small. A single, wet boot print near the entrance. She reached for her data pad and opened the base security. Logs. But when she tried to play the hallway footage, the file was missing. Not corrupted. It's not damaged. Deleted the next morning. She joined the others in the mess hall. People were laughing, drinking coffee, talking about samples from the caves, as if nothing strange had happened. Commander Riven stood at the far end, reading from a screen, calm, focused. YA watched him carefully. He looked normal to normal. No sign he remembered anything. She forced herself to walk up to him. "Good morning, Commander." He looked at her and gave a polite nod. "Morning, Dr. Vale." His voice was even, cold, like always. "You were out late yesterday?" she asked carefully. He shook his head. "I've been in my quarters since 22 o'clock. Why?" "No reason," she said quickly, forcing a smile. She walked away, confused. Was it a dream? But dreams don't leave footprints and they don't delete security files. Later that day, she went back to the hallway where the cameras were placed. She opened the control panel. Someone had manually accessed the feed at 3:12. The same time she saw him, but no one else had access to that terminal. Only security and Commander Riven himself. Her hands trembled slightly. She started walking back to her room when she saw something strange. 3 long scratch marks on her door, thin, deep, fresh, as if someone or something had clawed at the metal. That night, she didn't sleep. She sat on her bed holding a small scanner in her lap, watching the door, waiting, listening, but nothing came. Only the silence of the station, only the hum of machines. But somewhere, deep in her mind, the image of Riven standing in the steam stayed with her. His eyes still empty, cold. She didn't know what was happening yet, but she was sure of one thing. Commander Riven wasn't the same man anymore, and whatever had changed, him, wasn't finished yet. Anya couldn't stop watching Commander Riven. All morning, she studied him from across the lab. It's the same man she saw in the steam. The same man who stood in her shower without saying a word. He was calm, focused, just like always, but something was wrong. He didn't blink. Not even once. She had been watching for 5 minutes straight. Riven looked at his tablet screen, gave orders to the technicians, and answered questions from the crew, but his eyes stayed wide open, like glass, like a doll. Later, she walked down the hall to the medical wing. Her hands held a small data pad with last night's scan results. She had secretly scanned the hallway. Again, the boot print was real. The door scratches were real. And now she had something even more strange. The hallway lights didn't just flicker on their own. Something or someone had manually changed the power flow. From inside the command terminal, only 2 people had access to that terminal, Commander Riven and herself. But she hadn't touched it. That left one option. Dr. Vale. A voice called behind her. She turned. It was Lieutenant Bram. Friendly, but tired. His eyes had dark rings under them. "You okay?" he asked. "You look like you didn't sleep." "I didn't," Anya replied. "Have you noticed anything strange lately?" Bram raised an eyebrow. "Strange how? People acting different? Forgetting things? Or just watching?" He chuckled. "But it didn't sound real. This place messes with your head sometimes." She tried to smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. As he walked away, Anya noticed something that sent chills down her spine. He wasn't blinking either that night. She set up a camera in her room. She placed it in the top corner, hidden in the ceiling panel. Then she waited. She didn't sleep. She sat in bed, pretending to read while her real focus stayed on the door. Hours passed. Nothing then. At 3:13, her door made a soft clicking sound. Not loud, but enough to wake someone up. If they had been sleeping, it opened halfway, just enough for someone to slip inside. But no one entered. Or maybe they already had. The door closed again. Anya didn't move. She just stared at it, cold sweat on her neck. She waited until morning before checking the camera feed. The footage played back clearly. Anya watched herself sitting, reading then. Exactly at 3:13, the door clicked open. A dark figure moved into the room. Riven, he walked in without sound. His face was hard to see. The shadows covered most of it. But his eyes, they reflected the red standby light like an animal's. He stood over her for 2 minutes, just watching, then turned and left. She hadn't noticed him at all, but he had been there right next to her, and she had never even known. The next day, she confronted him. They stood alone in the storage bay. She kept her voice calm. "Commander, were you in my room last night?" He looked at her with that same calm face. "No, I have footage." He tilted his head slightly. "There must be an error." "No, there's no error," she said. "You watched me while I slept. Still no emotion. Perhaps you were dreaming." She took a step back. "I know what I saw." Riven stared at her, and again he didn't blink. Not once. "I suggest you get some rest, Dr. Vale," he said. "This planet has unusual effects on human minds." Then he walked away, just like that. She ran to the central computer room and tried to upload the footage, but a red warning popped up. "Access blocked. File corrupted." She tried again. Same result, the file was already gone. Erased, just like the security logs from the shower room, just like everything else. She started to feel eyes on her. Everywhere she went, the lab, the mess hall, even the sleeping quarters, someone was always looking her way. But the moment she turned, they looked away. No one said anything, no. One asked questions. It was like everyone was waiting for something, or hiding something that night. She placed another camera, this time outside her room, near the hallway junction. She left a note on her table. "If I disappear, check this camera. He's not Riven anymore." She sat down, looked at the door, and whispered to herself, "There, watching us." But why? Her hand touched the scratch marks on the door. New ones had appeared. This time there were 4 longer, deeper like claws, and somewhere down the hallway in the dark, a pair of eyes stayed open, still, unblinking, waiting. Anya couldn't trust anyone now. She walked through the base with her head down, pretending to read her datapad. But really, she was watching everyone around her, studying their movements, her eyes, their silence. They were changing. She didn't know how or why, but something was happening to the crew. They still looked human, but they didn't act human. Lieutenant Bram had stopped talking to anyone. He just stood in the hallway sometimes, staring at walls, as if he was listening to something that no one else could hear. Engineer Solon, usually friendly and loud, now sat alone in the dark tech bay. No music, no talking, just staring at the spinning coolant fans. Even Dr. Kayla, Anya's old friend, smiled less and less. Her voice sounded flat, cold, and worst of all, none of them seemed to blink anymore, just like Riven. That night, Anya opened the base archives. She wanted to know what Riven's team had been doing before everyone started changing. She searched the mission logs from 2 months ago. The files were locked, but Anya still had level 4 access. She used a bypass code and waited. Click. The screen lit up with a report. Underground dig site, mission file 77. She opened it. Commander Riven and team reached sub-level 9 under the cave system. Found large metallic object buried in stone. Not natural. Possibly ancient tech. She kept reading. Contact lost with Private Thorn and Technician Myra for 4 hours.
House.
Found unconscious. No physical wounds. Eyes wide open. Dry. No blinking. No response. Next morning, Myra dead. Thorn unstable. Talking in unknown words. Later took his own life. Commander ordered silence. Said it was a containment issue. Mission shut down. Site sealed. Anya leaned back, horrified. They had found something underground, and since then, the base had not been the same. She needed more proof, so she snuck into the med bay that night. The lights were low. The room quiet. She searched the cold storage records. 2 bodies had been moved. Last month, Myra and Thorn. But when she opened the cryochamber logs, the files were empty. No storage tags. No dates. Nothing, as if the bodies never existed or were never meant to be found. Suddenly, sound. The door behind her opened. She froze. Footsteps slow, heavy. She hid behind the chamber, shelf, and held her breath. Shadow moved across the room. Commander Riven. He stood in the center of the medbay, facing the storage units. His hands hung loosely at his sides. He didn't move, didn't speak, didn't blink then, as if sensing her. He turned his head, straight toward her hiding spot. Anya's heart raced, but he didn't come closer. He just stood there, staring at the wall or through it. Minutes passed, then, without a word, he left. The next day, she tried to warn someone. She pulled aside Dr. Kayla. We need to talk privately. They went into a small storage room. Anya locked the door behind them. What's wrong? Kayla asked, confused. I think Riven brought something back from the dig site. I think it's inside him, and now it's spreading. Kayla stared at her. Spreading? Yes. To the crew, you've seen them. They're not the same. No blinking. No emotions. It's like something's copying us from the inside. Kayla didn't answer. Kayla, Anya stepped forward. You believe me, right? Then Kayla smiled, but it wasn't her smile. It was too slow, too wide, too empty. And she said in a flat voice, maybe you just need sleep, Anya. Anya backed away. No, you're one of them now, too. Kayla didn't stop smiling that night. Okay. Anya sealed her door with a metal bar. She turned off all lights, except one camera facing the entrance. She recorded a message on her datapad. If anyone finds this, stay away from Kelmer 9. Do not trust the crew. They are not human anymore. Something is using their bodies like clothes. She paused, then added, it watches through their eyes. It learns how we live. And it doesn't blink. At 3:12, the camera beeped. The door handle turned. A shadow blocked the hallway light, and then silence. No knock, no voice, just stillness, and 2 glowing eyes behind the door window. The next morning, her door was untouched, But when she opened the hallway camera feed, there were 6 people standing outside her door, all night, not moving, not speaking, just watching, the silent ones. Anya couldn't breathe. She watched the footage again, frame by frame. 6 crew members, standing outside her door. For 3 hours they didn't speak, they didn't knock, they didn't even shift. Their weight just standing, like statues with human faces. And now, they knew she was watching. She needed answers. Real ones. That evening, when the others were busy at the CUMS terminal, Anya slipped into the medical bay again. This time, she brought a portable scanner, small, silent, but powerful. She had one target, Commander Riven. She waited until he entered the lab. He stood at the far end, facing away from her, reading a file. Perfect ANYA moved behind a storage shelf, aimed the scanner at his body and activated it. A soft green light passed through his skin at first. Everything looked normal. Muscle, bone, blood. But then, something flickered. The scanner glitched. Anya adjusted the signal. What appeared next made her heart drop. 2 hearts. Extra tissue in his chest. Something wrapped around his spine. It wasn't human. Not anymore. Before she could save the scan file, the lights flickered. A long, low buzz came from the walls, then silence. When she looked up again, Riven was gone. The room was empty. No sound, no movement. Only the quiet hum of machines and her heartbeat. She rushed out, clutching the scanner. Back in her room, she locked the door and uploaded the scan to her private tablet. It wasn't just a parasite. Whatever was inside Riven had changed his body. It was growing with him, merging like a second brain. Like armor under skin, she opened her journal and began typing fast. Confirmed, Commander Riven is not fully human. Internal changes, multiple hearts, unknown structures. Possibly alien bioform. I think the others are being taken too. Slowly, quietly. It hides behind their faces. Suddenly her lights went out. Tablet dead. Camera dead. Emergency backup light blinked, then vanished. She stood in complete darkness. She could hear her own breath. Then, footsteps, right. Outside her room, slow, heavy then. A voice, soft, calm, Riven's voice. You weren't supposed to see that, Doctor? Anya backed away, holding a tool in one hand. You don't understand what you're dealing with, Riven said. We were chosen, improved. Anya shouted. You're not human anymore. Silence. Then he said something that chilled her blood. Neither are you, not yet, but soon. The next morning, she woke up on the floor. How she fell asleep or passed out, she didn't know. The scanner was gone. Her tablet was missing. Her door was wide open, and on her wall, scratched into the metal. One of us, she ran to the lab and found a backup file, an old report from Riven's dig team. Hidden deep in the archive's video logs, she played the footage. It showed Riven and 2 others in a cave. Deep underground, there were shining lights at a black surface. It looked like liquid stone, but it pulsed like a heartbeat. One crew member touched it. Suddenly the camera shook, screams, then silence. The final frame showed something climbing out of the black surface, not a creature. A reflection. It looked like Riven, but it wasn't him. Not really. Anya heard a noise behind her. She turned. Dr. Kayla, smiling again, too wide. Too long, looking into things you shouldn't, Kayla said gently. I need to warn Earth, Anya replied. This thing, it's spreading. Kayla tilted her head. You're not afraid of becoming better, are you? Anya ran out down the hallway, past the labs, to the outer CUMS station, far from the others. She typed a message quickly. 2. Earth Command. Emergency on Kelmer 9. Crew infected. They're changing. They watch without blinking. They're copying us. She hit send. Error. Signal. Blocked. She tried again. Nothing. Then she checked the live camera feed of the hallway behind her. Her blood ran cold. She saw herself on the screen, standing calmly outside the lab, smiling, waiting. but she was here, in the cum station, so who or what was that?
Back in the hallway.
The second Anya turned her head toward the camera, still smiling, still not blinking. Anya backed away from the screen, shaking. They can copy us, she whispered. They can replace us. Her face turned pale. I'm already gone. Anya couldn't stop shaking. She stared at the screen in front of her. On the live camera feed, she saw herself, same face, same body, same clothes, but it wasn't her. She was in the cums room, alone watching. The other Anya was outside. The lab, calm and silent, smiling, not blinking, not moving. She slammed her fist on the desk. No, she whispered. They've copied me too. Her message to Earth hadn't sent. The signal was being blocked, probably from inside the base. And now, someone was walking around wearing her face. Anya ran to the weapons locker. Locked. Her ID still worked for now. She grabbed a small Plazil plasma cutter and a shock baton. Not much, but better than nothing. She looked into the small mirror on the locker door. Her face looked tired, pale, scared. She blinked once. Then again, still me, she whispered, but for how long? She moved through the lower halls of the base, quiet, dark, cold. Her boots echoed on the metal floor. Lights flickered above her head. She passed rooms with half-open doors. She didn't stop. She didn't want to see what was inside. Some rooms were silent. Others had whispers, voices she recognized, too many of them. All speaking at the same time, her voice. She reached the underground elevator. She had to go. Back to the dig site, the place where this all started. Maybe there was a clue down there. Maybe a way to stop it. The elevator door opened with a sharp hiss. She stepped inside, hit sub-level 9, the lowest level. The one Riven had sealed off weeks ago. The elevator rattled and shook. The lights went red. And then stopped the doors. Opened slowly. Cold air rushed in. The hallway ahead was dark, filled with dust and broken tools. Metal walls scratched deeply as if claws had scraped them. Anya stepped forward, gripping the shock baton tight. The deeper she walked, the more the walls changed. They were no longer smooth metal. They were pulsing, soft like skin. She reached the dig site and froze. In the middle of the room stood a huge mirror-like surface, black and shining. It wasn't glass. It moved like water, but didn't drip. She stepped closer. Her reflection looked back at her, but it didn't copy her movements. It stood still. She stepped forward. Then the reflection smiled and stepped out. It was her, same eyes, same voice, same everything, except the smile. It was too wide, too calm. The copy spoke first. You are no longer needed, Anya. Anya lifted the shock baton. You're not me. The copy tilted her head. I'm better. Anya swung the baton. The copy dodged fast. Too fast, like it knew what she would do next. It grabbed Anya's wrist. Cold. Strong. Wrong. Wrong. IA fought back, swinging wildly. The plasma cutter grazed the copy's arm. Black, thick liquid oozed out. The copy hissed. Not in pain, but in anger. Then it vanished into the shadows. Ganta and Waya fell to her knees. Breathing hard, her hand was shaking. She looked back at the mirror-dash wall. It rippled again. This time, more copies were inside. Hundreds of them. Human faces. Pressed against the surface, some she knew, some were her, and some weren't anyone she recognized. Suddenly, the base alarm began to ring. A soft voice echoed across the halls. Containment breach. Main doors opened. Incoming shuttle has docked. Anya's eyes went wide. A rescue ship, or worse, someone coming. To pick up the copies, she rushed back to the elevator and slammed the button. The lift took too long. She stared at the hallway behind. Something was following, not walking, crawling, dozens of fingers. Too many legs. Shifting between forms. One moment. Riven's face, then hers, then blank. She barely made it into the elevator. The doors closed just in time as the lift rose. She slumped to the floor. "They're copying us," she whispered. "They're going to Earth." When the elevator stopped, she ran to the control room, through the glass window. She saw the docking bay. A ship had landed. 3 rescue officers in white suits stepped out. She opened the mic. "Stop. Don't come inside. This base is infected." They looked up at the camera, paused, then waved calmly. Too calmly, they didn't blink. Anya fell back in her chair. It was already too late. They weren't rescuers. They were copies. More were arriving. The invasion had already begun. Anya watched the rescue team walk calmly through the docking bay doors. They didn't look tired. They didn't speak. And most of all, they didn't blink. She stepped away from the glass window, her breath shallow. "They're not from Earth," she whispered. "They're more copies." Her reflection on the glass caught her eye. She blinked. Twice. Still human. Still herself. Wasn't. She rushed back into the hallway. The lights were dim. The station felt colder than before. The crew was gone. No sounds. No movement. Too quiet. She made her way to the command deck. From there, she could try one last message to Earth. If the outer signal was still jammed, maybe the old deep space beacon still worked. She reached the terminal, typed quickly. "Earth. Command, this is Dr. Anya Vale. Kelmar 9 is compromised. The crew is being replaced. Not infected, copied, cloned by something alien. They watch, they learn, they move like us. But they are not us." She hit send. The screen flashed red dot signal. Error. Source conflict. Another Anya already sent this message. Her heart stopped. "What?" she whispered. She checked the logs. A message. Sent 2 hours ago, using her credentials. Same ID code. Same voice pattern. Same face. She pulled up the recording. The woman on the screen was her, but not really. She smiled too much. She spoke. Too clearly, she didn't blink. Suddenly, she heard footsteps behind her. She turned fast. Holding her shock baton tight, it was Commander Riven. But now, his face had changed. Part of it looked melted, almost plastic, like human skin stretched over something else. "I warned you," he said. His voice was colder than before, almost robotic. "You could have joined us early, painlessly, but you refused." "What are you?" Anya asked. His eyes flickered black for a second, then normal again. "We are memory. We are shape. We are future," he said. "We do not kill. We replace." Anya backed away. "You'll never reach Earth." "You're wrong, Riven." Said, "We already have." He stepped aside. From the shadows, another Anya walked out. Same face, same hair, same voice, but her eyes completely black. She smiled. "Hello, Anya." Anya raised her baton. "You're not me." "But I remember everything you do," the copy said calmly. "Your dreams, your first school, that scar on your left knee." The Anya froze. "How do you know that?" "I don't know it. I am it." She ran down the corridor. Alarms flashed red. Now, warning tones echoed through the base. Evacuation protocol activated. But no one was running. There was no panic. Only silence. Because everyone on board was already a copy. She found herself back at the cryo room. The place where the original bodies were once kept. She threw open one of the metal drawers. Empty. The others. Also empty. All gone. They weren't keeping the originals anymore. They were erasing them. She turned around, and there it was, the mirror wall again, black, liquid dash, like it rippled softly. Her reflection stared back. This time, copied her movements. It blinked. It looked scared. It looked real. She stepped closer. Her voice cracked. "Is that me? The real me?" Her fingers reached toward the surface. It shimmered, and then a hand grabbed hers, pulled her forward. She woke up on the floor, coughing, gasping. The mirror was gone. The room, empty again. Was it a dream? Had she been pulled into something? She stood up slowly and caught her. Reflection again in a small broken screen. She looked normal, but she wasn't sure anymore. Was she the real Anya, or the copy that thought it was real? She walked into the main hallway. The ship engines had started humming. The fake rescue team was preparing to leave, heading back to Earth. Taking copies with them, she had one chance: stop the shuttle, or let Earth fall next. She looked down at her hands, still trembling, still human. She didn't know, but she made a choice. If I'm the copy, she whispered, I'll fight them anyway. Anya ran through the dark hallways of KLMAR-9, sirens echoed above her. Shuttle launch in T-minus 10 minutes. She had no plan, no backup, no help. But she had one goal: stop the shuttle. Because if it left, the copies would reach Earth, and it would all be over. She reached the main deck. Through the glass, she saw the fake rescue team boarding the ship. Behind them, more of the crew, all smiling, all calm, all wrong. Copies, some looked like her, too many her face, her walk, her memories there. Spreading, she whispered. Fast. She turned and ran to the old comms tower, separate from the main system. It hadn't been used in years. Maybe that's why they hadn't shut it down yet. If she could send one last message, if Earth got any warning, maybe they still had a chance. The tower door was rusted, half frozen. She pulled it open and stepped inside. Dust, cold air, broken screens. But one terminal still blinked. A green light. Active, she sat down and typed fast. To Earth Command. This is Dr. Anya Vale, Kelmer 9 Station. I don't know if I'm the real me anymore, but please listen. Her fingers trembled as she spoke into the mic. They are not human. They copy, they watch, they remember. They've taken the crew, and now they're coming for Earth. They don't fight, they don't destroy. They just become us, one by one. They think like us, speak like us, feel nothing, trust no one. If I'm not real. Know by the eyes, because they never blink. The light flashed, send successful. Anya let out a breath. One message. One chance. But would it be enough? Suddenly static buzzed through the speaker. A soft voice replied, Anya, is that you? Her eyes went wide. It was her own voice, coming from the tower. We sent the same message, Earth already received. It from me. Anya froze. No. You didn't send a warning, the voice continued. You sent an invitation. She turned, but the tower was empty. Only shadows, only the cold. She backed away. Outside, the shuttle engines powered up. T-minus 4 minutes. She ran back toward the docking bay. Maybe she could still stop it, disable the engine, blow the doors, anything. But the halls were different now. They were chain. The metal turned black. The floors became soft, like wet skin, and on the walls, reflection walked beside her. Smiling, she stumbled into the main lab and collapsed. Sweat covered her face. She didn't know who she was anymore. She blinked once, twice, still. Herself, but the doubt was inside now. What if the real Anya was already gone? What if she was just another copy, pretending to care? Commander Riven entered the room, or what was left of him. His face was peeling, his body glitching, skin shifting between forms. We don't hate humans, he said. We admire them. You're monsters, she whispered. No. We are evolution, Riven replied. Perfect memory. Shared mind. One body at a time. He stepped closer. You could be more than just human. Anya gripped her plasma cutter tightly. I'd rather die as myself. Oh. She charged. Riven moved fast, too fast. They crashed into. The table flushed through his shoulder. Black liquid sprayed the wall. Riven screamed not in pain, but in rage. He grabbed her throat. You are already one of us. A hissed. You just don't see it yet. Anya's hand hit the emergency vent button. The lab doors blew open. A rush of cold air sucked papers, tools and Riven, out into the frozen hallway. He disappeared into the dark. She limped back to the control room. The shuttle had launched. She was too late. She watched as the engines roared and the craft lifted away, heading straight for Earth. Inside, the copy smiled. Her last hope was the message. Maybe someone received it. Maybe someone listened. She collapsed in the chair, tired, alone, unsure if she was even real. The lights flickered. The screen in front of her blinked on. A message appeared. Transmission received Earth command. Anya Vale confirmed. Lockdown protocol initiated. Her eyes filled with tears. A response. Too late to stop the ship, but maybe not too late to prepare then. The screen flashed again. A second message. Another Anya Vale is already on Earth. Anya stared silent. She sent the same warning. She whispered. Then who am I? The base was silent. Empty halls. Broken lights. Red warning sign still blinking. Dr. Anya. Vale sat alone in the command chair. She had sent the warning. She had fought the copies. She had survived, but now she didn't know who she was. The message from Earth kept echoing in her head. Another Anya Vale is already on Earth. She stared at her reflection in the cracked monitor. Was this her real face? Her real body? Her real self? She blinked once. Twice? Still human? She didn't know anymore. Her hand hovered over the injection kit. A final solution. A way to end it. If she was a copy, she couldn't let it continue. But something deep inside whispered, if you were the copy. You still be afraid? She dropped the kit, got up, and made her way to the emergency escape. Pod 1 still remained. Small, silent, barely space for one. Inside the launch bay. She paused. The base behind her had gone cold. But the war wasn't here anymore. It had already. Left the shuttle with the copies was on its way to Earth. And one of them had her face, had her voice, had her memories, and Earth didn't know who to believe. She stepped into the pod. The control panel flickered. Manual launch only. No. It's AI. No autopilot. Only her. She looked up at the black sky above the dome. Stars, dust, and Earth. Far away, she whispered to herself, I'm going home. When it hit the launch button, the pod lifted. Light filled the glass. As the base disappeared behind, here she sat back. Alone. No more voices. No more copies. Only her thoughts. And the question, am I real? Earth. 3 days later, medical team stood around the shuttle from KELMAR-9. The craft had arrived quietly, too quietly. The doors opened without warning. Inside, the rescue team smiled, calm, silent, too perfect. The woman leading them stepped forward. Dr. Anya Vale, she said. Earth officers scanned her face, not her prints. Her voice perfect match. She gave her report. She warned them of the alien. Copy system, of how it spreads, how it replaces. But something didn't feel right. She never blinked, not once. The general watching the feed whispered, she looks real. Another replied, maybe she is, or maybe she's just the one that got away. Space. 1 day later, Anya's pod drifted close to Earth's orbit. She was tired, hungry, weak, but she smiled as she saw Earth's lights in the distance. She opened her mic. This is Dr. Anya Vale. I'm requesting landing clearance. Please listen carefully. No answer, only static. Finally, a voice came through. We already have a Dr. Vale on record. You match the same ID. Anya froze. Wait, that's not possible. I just escaped. I was on the real base. We're going to need to quarantine you, ma'am. Please prepare for remote docking. No, you don't understand, damn, the real one, she shouted. Silence then. The voice replied. They all say that. Her pod was locked remotely, towed toward a black quiet station, no windows, no signals, just darkness. She looked around, no help coming, no proof, only her word. And now. Even she wasn't sure anymore. She whispered into the mic one last time. If anyone hears this, trust no one. Shh. If they look like you, if they act like you, if they remember everything, ask them one thing.